I just met you. I know nothing about what you do. Would you just give me a little overview about Work Shield?
Yeah, absolutely. Work Shield is a tech-enabled service. We're based here in Dallas. We help employers mitigate the risk associated with workplace misconduct. So incidents of harassment, discrimination, bullying, which are unfortunately all too prevalent in the workforce in today's day and age. We are helping employers mitigate the risk of an individual incident rise to the level of litigation, issues with the EEOC, claims against EPL insurance, those sticky, messy, expensive outcomes.
Yeah, absolutely. Did you sit on the panel this morning?
I've sat in on some of them, but I don't know which
Oh,
one.
the women in restaurants panel.
I did say that on the Women in QSR Fast Car.
Yes. Yeah. What did you think?
I loved hearing from all of them that were up there. I think that especially when you're looking at taking care of employees, having that sense of care and genuine care that's not based on bottom line metrics is important. That's where you create a nurturing, happy atmosphere. And it seemed as though they're all genuinely interested in not only providing that, but how it does influence bottom line metrics
Exactly.
and success.
And even if you are interested in bottom line metrics, like that's what I think the industry is starting to finally understand.
That's right.
It's not just fluffy. It
That
actually makes a dollar difference in how your business operates.
that
Yep.
right, and one of the things that I've loved about not just the panels, but the conversations I've had at this conference is that people in the restaurant industry are just now kind of getting out from under that staffing hurricane that they were under, coming out of the pandemic, during and coming out of it. And now they are starting to look at those broader initiatives of let's marry our employee experience, our customer experience, and create a larger brand that does drive success in the hospitality industry. And so I think that's exciting that some of the burnout that a lot of the HR teams were probably facing when staffing was just such an existential threat to their business, that they can now focus on long-term success rather than surviving the day.
Absolutely. Yeah. No, I agree with that sentiment. And I'm glad to hear someone else say, why are you here? Well, what brought you to the Workforce Management Summit?
Well, one of the things that we've seen in creating a good employee experience in the restaurant industry is the fact that it is an industry that is still rife with incidents of harassment and discrimination and other types of toxic behavior. When you have decentralized workforces, non-traditional hours, alcohol involved, inconsistent management by location, that lack of visibility that you have on every location makes it sort of unfortunately a petri dish
Yeah.
for these types of incidents. And we want to enable these teams to have not only visibility on what's happening within their workforce, but the ability to address it consistently, swiftly, and comprehensively.
Yeah. No, it reminds me of I worked in brick and mortar, frontline employee, then went into the software world, right? And I feel like when you're on the vendor side and in the software and the thick of it, it's really easy to lose sight of what it's like in the store, right? Luckily, my customers humble me often. But I remember a moment when I was doing a demo for a new prospect, right? And this guy was like 25 minutes late to the demo. Great, this must not be a priority, right? He hopped on. He's like, I'm so sorry. We really do need some help, and I'd love to know what you guys can help us with. I just had to deal with an employee who's doing crack in the bathroom. It's like,
It's Murphy Zola out there, right?
oh yeah, okay, I remember now. I remember the stress levels, right? And that's what it's all about for me and my product. Yes, let's give you back your life. You don't have to be mired in
Right.
all of the back and forth, and it all does come back down to the bottom line.
Yeah.
But especially in restaurant,
Yeah.
it's the hospitality business.
That's right. And
We have to put people first.
their brand of their success is that experience and that atmosphere and that aura that they create. And so when you hear from some of these leaders in the restaurant industry that talk about we're painting this broad portrait of what the experience is like, we want them to be able to be at that canvas and painting and with dedication to their craft, not getting sidelined by the things that unfortunately do come up in the restaurant industry.
Oh yeah, yeah, absolutely. No, I love that. I think that's a beautiful vision. What are some of the key takeaways you've seen while you're here? Any cool conversations?
I think it is just people getting back to paying attention to that canvas and painting that masterpiece again, that there does seem to be a sense where restaurant leaders are looking out at the long-term horizon, and are starting to, be able to think about things long term. What do we hope for? What do we envision? And not just paying attention to the pains of the individual moment.
Yeah.
And we like to take that drama off their plate.
I love it. Well, for anyone who hasn't heard of you before, who wants to know more about Work Shield, who wants to connect with you and get your insights on something,
Yeah.
how should they do that?
Yeah. So our website is workshield.com. Smash that follow button or whatever they say. Follow us on LinkedIn. That's probably where we're the most active. Or, come see us. We're at Energy Square in Dallas until we outgrow that office, and then we'll get a bigger office somewhere else.
Beautiful. Do you have any more upcoming shows for the rest of the year?
We will be at this show next year. We've already signed the paperwork to do that. We're looking at some of the other Industry Now shows. They've been fantastic. So we're looking at those. I don't know which shows we'll be at, but we're getting more heavily involved in events and in-person interactions.
Wonderful.
Yeah.
Very, very cool. Well, thank you.
Yeah.
I had a fuzzy stuck to my hand. Thank you so much. It's great to meet you.
Thank you.